Hello everyone on YouTube and welcome to a new 3D Artcore tutorial where we will learn how to model a basketball court arena. First of all, my name is David. If you are new to this channel, welcome and thank you for joining. Now, this tutorial is a little bit more advanced, and what I mean is that advanced can come in many aspects, but at least for this one is really important that you do things a little bit more precise to what I do following this tutorial. Um, I haven't made tutorials for quite a long time and I already jumped into the new Maya version 2015. So therefore, if you are using earlier versions of Maya, some things may won't be the same as in the earlier and as it is in this version of Maya. Now, I also added a bird's background tweeting, so I hope you really enjoy this. No, it's really just a morning here, and I was up for half of the night because I was trying to complete some parts of this tutorial, but then I came to some problems that forced me to recreate this tutorial. So therefore, this is what I mean. You need to be precise. If you are not precise, you will do mistakes that you will need to redo things all over again. So please be very um, precise on what you do and at least try to use the methods that I'm doing, that I'm working on, like with, in order to get somewhat the same result. Also, this is a bit very large scene of a model, and it will deserve to maintain as much as low poly count in your scene. Therefore, I don't want to create high poly models that will affect the way that my machine runs, because as much that the poly count is high, this is become very heavy, at least for my machine to handle with. It's pretty old computer, 5 years old, I think, a little bit more, maybe 6 years old, and I didn't upgrade my graphic card, so things still a little bit too heavy for this machine. So this another thing that it's really important to say, at least for at this part of the tutorial, so you will be aware of this. And I will because of that, I will take different steps in order to make sure that I will be able to populate all of the feature that includes this interior of the arena um, into this scene. And I will work. Sometimes I will work with new files, and then I will import whatever I model in those files into the main scene. So this is another thing. Also, if you want, I will create high poly models for some of the feature like chairs, that I find that this is the most problematic thing in this scene, because there are too many chairs in this scene, and because of that the poly count is just cranking up like crazy, and I do need to maintain this in some way, and it's to make sure that each chair has the lowest number of poly counts. So uh, yeah, I think that that's enough said, and we can start. Um, yeah, so the first thing I recommend you is to open Google. Okay, go over Google and type in wiki. Just type in wiki space basketball court. This will bring you to this link that will provided by Wikipedia. Um, it's really nice to have things such as this, because it's very helpful to understand some of the scales of things. So it's as like, for the main thing here is already telling you the dimension of basketball court as it appears on the NBA, or as it appears on the women leagues FIBA. So there are very little difference between them. Some kind of a little bit more centimeters and less at the NBA one. So also you can find here this thing, and it's contained a little bit more thing, like what is the distance of the 3 points throw, and any other things, the rim height. So all those little values are really helpful when it comes to build your scene in good proportions. So be aware of this link, and please make sure you pull as much as data as you need in order to complete this, because this is really, really essential for this kind of a tutorial. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing, by the way, I do need this open a little bit for a second. So the length of an NBA court, and this is what we will do, like an NBA court, and our goal is to create something that look just a little bit similar to this. I'm not really, it's not like a fanatic request. It will be something that look just a little bit something like so. And I'm not sure that I will complete the exterior of this. I mean, I just want to create the interior, and if I will feel like and I will have time, we will do the outside exterior and try to do something that at least is fits if you want to create some nice video. I don't know. Anyway, let's stick to the interior for now. So the court dimension of the NBA is 28.65 meters for the length, and for the width it's 15.24, and we need to focus on this. So what are we doing? First of all, in Maya, as for recommended when it comes to rendering pictures, so let's say you already have the final model and its texture and everything, and you had lights and everything. Uh, if you notice or not, everything is got related to measurements and correct, I don't know, measurements and stuff like that. And the recommended thing is to render stuff while they are presented in real world scale. It's hard for me to say real world scale. Okay, so real world scale. And when it comes to real world scale, you have the grid here, and each unit here is 1 by 1 centimeters. If you are not using centimeters, you can come over Window, Setting Preferences, and change it. You have two different type of measurements, of course. So we have hinge and I don't know, feet, or it really depends on you where you leave it. Let's see where it is exactly. I haven't visited here for a long time, so let's see settings. Yeah, so at settings you can see that working units is right now we are working with centimeters, and you can work with meter, inch, foot, yard, millimeters. We are using centimeters, and for me, at least for now, it does important. You can use meters if you like, but I'm working right now with centimeters. Also, you have other parameters where I don't want you to get into this right now. So let's save this and just memorize that each unit here is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Now I know that you see only partial grid. I mean, you see only this grid as it is, but if you switch to any other perspective view, okay, I mean like the side or the front, then the grid is not limited. You will always see grid in front of your face. But at least for the perspective view, they're giving you a partial of this grid, okay? Partial part or partial. Partial is partial. Anyway, let's begin. So the first steps, two first steps that I'm doing every time that I'm working with Maya, opening Maya, is to go over shading. Make sure that smooth wireframe is ticked. This makes the grid looks a little bit better, and uh, also the object, any object that you will add to the scene. Now, the next thing is to go over create polygon primitives. Okay, we are working with polygons, and down here you will see this interactive creation option. Now, by default, if you never used Maya, or you used it but you never touched this feature, it will be enabled, and therefore you will see a V sign next to it, just like you have here. So we don't want this V sign here, so you click on it and it will disable this. Then this will allow you basically to go over the polygon shelf, click on any one of those shapes, and it will drop a default shape with default settings, okay, instantly to your grid. So let's drop a plane, polygon plane. With that polygon plane, I want to make something. I want to make a remark. Um, you see here we have this thing here, those lines here that can be expand and collapse. Now here, this one, you will see this little thing here, which named as construction history on and off. Now this basically turns on, toggling on and off this feature, and we need this feature turned on every time, most of the time, unless I'm saying differently, okay? And that means that as long that it doesn't have this X symbol here, this right now it's like turned off. That way it's turned on. Okay, so we need this turned on. And the reason for that, it's pretty simple. When you create a new polygon and it's turned off, some of the features that comes with this basic default shape will be disabled. So I'll give you an example. Let's create this polygon pipe here. Okay, I will open that. I'm selecting the polygon pipe, expanding the attribute editor option. Okay, this is the attribute editor. You can see it's named attribute editor, and here you have 4 tabs. Okay, now at this at this creation of our shape, we are missing one tab, and this is basically the tab that that we need. Okay, so I will delete this. Okay, simply delete it, press delete, and I will create a new polygon pipe like so while it's turned on. Sorry, 1 second. All right, so right now that we created this while it's turned on, and you can see that right now we have 5 different tabs, and you can scroll through them with those little arrows. Okay, now the missing tab was this one, which contained this information: the radius, the height, the thickness of this polygon pipe, and so on. And we need to make sure we have 20 subdivision axes, and this is how we do this. So if you already played with this a little bit too much, please go over and change all the values that you need into those values. Okay, radius 1, height 2, thickness whatever, subdivision axis 20, and subdivision height 1, and whatever goes in here. So you created this polygon pipe, and that's fine. We're gonna delete it, okay, because we need to continue with our plane first. So for the plane, what you want to do, you want to go over the channel box and you want to type in the values of the chord size. So the chord size is 2865, I think. Let's see, 2865. So that means we need the scale X, okay, 2865, okay. Now, because this is each unit is 1 centimeter, this will be translated into 28 meters, okay. So we have 2865, and this will translate it into that, okay, like so. This is how big this is chord is in real scale world. And please remember that when people rendering stuff, this is what requires. They need to use the real scale of this of your model, like it was like in real world. So the next thing is the scale Z, okay, or Z, and this thing is 15.24. So 1524, and this is our chord. Very simple. The Y is controlling the height, and we don't want to touch this, only X and Z. So with that done, basically I ain't gonna use the real scale world. I do use the real scale world to determine how big will be my court, and this is the only thing that I need to be that size. And when I've done this, I can simply relay on this, and I can scale this down to the grid size. So I will continue and scale this to the grid size in a way that uniformly it's maintaining the same scale for the length and width of our court. Okay, so uniformly is grabbing this middle thing here and click, hold, and drag from right to left in order to scale this. So this is what I'm doing. So now you don't need to pay attention to what's happening here too, because it's relatively, as I said. So the width is 23, 23, and the length is 45. So with that done, I'm gonna create a polygon pipe, and this polygon pipe, I want you to click on this foreview. This is the foreview. The easier way to approach this is to open this feature is to hit the space bar one time, and it will show you the foreview. You need to hover your mouse on any of those windows, okay? But you can see that down here it says side. You can hardly see it, but it says side, front, and top. We need the top, okay? So the top, if you hover your mouse over it and hit the spacebar, it will expand this, and you can simply scale this polygon in that way. So you can see that we have open gaps here now because it's scaling up, and it's becoming larger, those holes. And I want to make sure that the holes are somewhat like this, okay? It doesn't have to be the same. This I will explain you later on why I'm doing this, but right now, something like so, okay? When it's like so, what I want you to do is hit the spacebar again, switch to foreview basically, hover your mouse on top of the perspective view, hit the spacebar, and it will give you the perspective view. With that done, right click, choose face, grab all those faces in the middle and beneath here, except those at the top, okay? And press delete on your keyboard. This is the only time that you will use delete as for faces. I mean, as long that we want to delete faces, it's okay to press delete on your keyboard. But if I will ask you to delete vertices or edges or whatever, you won't use the delete key on your keyboard because this is not the way to delete the other stuff, okay? So only faces. We grab this, and now we need to center the pivot for this circle. So go over modify and center pivot. Now we want this to be at the same height as our grid. So what can we do? We have here all the snap options. The left one is the snap to grid. All you need to do is click on it, switch to move tool, and push this downwards so it will meet the surface, okay? And that's okay. Don't worry that it's overlapping the court itself. Right now it's not your concern. Now turn this off so you can move normally. And if you don't want to use this, you can simply hold down the X, and look what's going on here. The square will turn into circle. So while you are holding the X key on your keyboard, this is what it turns on and off. Okay, you can see it's blinking here. You can see here. And same here. As long as it's circled, it's activated. So right click on this polygon pipe and grab half cut of it. Okay, and go over mesh and extruct. Now in Maya 2015, what they've done, they basically took the part of the features that been here in this menu and moved them to a third new menu, and they're all assigned over here. So most of the tools now most of the common used tool are on those three tabs here. Okay, press F8 once and twice, and third time. And now grab this piece, and you can see that our pivot right now is not centered. I mean, you need to grab those two and go over modify center pivot, and that's not good. So what I will do is I will undo whatever I did, and right now it's centered, right? It's in the center. So right click, choose face, grab all those, mesh extract, and press F8. So right now it's still on the center. Okay, it's still on the center of the pivot, but it's down here. And this is a little bit weird, but it shouldn't be there. It should be here on the grid level. I'm really clueless about why it's happening, though I will try to see if I can go over edit, delete by type, history, and then extract this. Okay, mesh extract. And press F8 once or twice, and then grab this one. And still yet it comes over here, and I have no idea why it's happening, though that's okay. So now with that done, what I want you to do is go over top view. So we are changing back to 4 view, put your mouse cursor over here, press the space bar, and I want you to take a look to grab one of those and bring them over here. Okay, so you see that the pivot is basically center. Doesn't matter if the height is not the same, it just matters that it's on the center of this half cut of our polygon pipe. So the pivot acts like it's still in the center of the whole pipe, and basically it's half cut and it's still there. And this is what we need. We need it to be there. And this will help us to snap this point, which is the pivot, into the area of this side of our chord. So what you do, you hold down the V key, not the X like the snap to grid, but V key. This is snapping to point, okay? So it's using any point on the surface to snap it to this chord. So now hold down the V and push this with the move tool over here, and you can see it snaps this half cut precisely to this side of the chord. We will do the same over here. I'm gonna grab this part, push that to this direction, hold down the V and pull it back. So it snaps to the first point that it sees. And release this. Press spacebar and hover the perspective view, and now we will combine those two. So you grab one piece, shift select the other piece, go over mesh and edit mesh and choose the bridge option. This is the little box, is the option for the bridge. You're gonna go over edit first, reset settings, and make sure that on the division column you type in 1 and hit the enter. When you've done this, you can simply okay, sorry, I forgot to combine them. That's okay, keep this window open. We just grab those two, go over mesh, combine first. So now they are acting like one unit. And now you can right click, choose edge, and grab this edge, shift select this edge, and click apply on the bridge options. Okay, this will bridge them and give you one edge loop or edge in between them. This is this division edge. We will do the same here, selecting this, shift selecting this, click apply, and done. Close, press F8 once or twice, and now it's really up to you to determine how big this thing will be. Though be aware that most of it will be deleted. Okay, we only need the inner circle here, and later on you will see. Anyway, the thing is that on the real courts, basketball courts, you have space here that can be used as for chairs, and also here. And here you have all the judges and everything who's sitting on, whatever. So in some courts, it's like that. So you need to leave some space in between the audience seats and the court itself for any other features that this basketball court have. So with that done, I want you to create a project folder, and this is where we will wrap this part of the tutorial. You're gonna go over File, and because I already have a project folder, I will create new because this meant for this tutorial. The other one was experimental folder. Anyway, project window, you click on it, you go over here, new, type in, you click new on the new, type in basketball court or arena. I will call it arena. Let's say I will call it arena. And click accept. Okay. Now be aware that when you create this folder, it's stored in your documents. It doesn't matter if you use Windows or Mac OS, it will store this inside documents folder of yours, inside Maya folder that's already been there while you installed Maya, and the project that's already been there while you installed Maya. So inside projects, you will have this basketball arena folder. Click accept, go over file, set project, and it will show you the project folders immediately. You just need to select your desired project that you want to save all your scene and whatever goes in there. Click set, and then it's safe to go over file, save scene as, name your, I will name it 2 to 1, the first file, okay, and it will store it, as you can see, in projects, basketball arena, scenes. Scenes folder, this is where all of your MB files are stored, okay. Save as, and we are good to uh, tell you have a nice day, wish you a nice day, and hope you enjoy this part of the tutorial. Don't worry, following the parts, I will speed up things, though I do want other people to, work, take it easy, and following in some kind of a, um, I don't know, reasonable speed. And that will ensure that most of the people who watch this tutorial basically will be able to follow this. So again, thank you again for watching. We will meet you again at the next part. Have a nice day.